So, so what I'll do is I'll define mindfulness first of all a little bit, and that'll seem like I'm teaching you something. And actually, that's you've got the handout, so that's kind of what I was going to. That's what I'll tell you. And most of this I stole from John Kabat-Zinn, so and wrote it up in my own way. Now, it's weird. I mean, Emil mentioned I've been practicing Buddhist meditation for 30 years. It's weird to be doing something for 30 years and then it becomes trendy. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow, I'm trendy now, So I'm trying to catch up with that. So mindfulness is a focused, non-judgmental awareness of what is happening in the present moment. With mindfulness, we look at the whole range of experience, the pleasant and the unpleasant, with a non-reactive, curious attention. And the only way you can understand mindfulness is by practicing it, by trying to do it. You can't think your way into mindfulness either way, any more than you can think your way into recovery. You have to stop drinking to get sober. You have to be mindful to understand what mindfulness is. Mindfulness is a human capability. It's taught out of the Buddhist tradition because that was a form that was very well put together. But every religious tradition has a meditative stream within it, or a meditative path, which draws on mindfulness. Most of them aren't quite as explicit or as clearly explained as they are in Buddhism. So that's why we kind of take these teachings out of Buddhism. But the Buddha or Jesus or Moses or whoever your spiritual teacher is, they didn't invent mindfulness. The human heart, the human mind has this capability inherent to it. And we all are mindful to some degree or another in our lives. But most of the time we aren't. Most of the time we are driven by our impulse, by our reactivity. So if we look at the definition of mindfulness, if we just reverse engineer that or reverse it, mindfulness is a focused, non-judgmental awareness. So non-mindfulness is being unfocused and judgmental. Awareness of what is happening in the present moment. Unmindfulness is thinking about the past and the future. With mindfulness, we look at the whole range of experience, the pleasant and the unpleasant. Without mindfulness, we are always trying to get away from the unpleasant and create the pleasant. With a non-reactive, curious attention. Non-mindfulness is being reactive and running on your conditioning. And not being particularly interested in what's going on in any kind of broad way, but only being interested in our own pleasure, and our own immediate gratification. So we can see how addiction itself is really another definition for non-mindfulness. Addiction is all about getting out of this moment. I don't like this moment, so I'm going to alter it in whatever way I can. I don't like the way I feel, so I'm going to fix it some way. If we're going to get sober, which is a term that we can apply to the range of addictions, so let's not just limit it to alcohol. If we're going to get clean and sober, we're going to get free of addiction, we're going to have to learn to be uncomfortable and to be okay with that, to be present with our discomfort. So mindfulness meditation is a tool that helps us to get some calm so that we have a tool for settling, centering, getting more peaceful. But really, any form of meditation does that. The unique quality of mindfulness, meditation, as opposed to just mindfulness as a general concept, is that it encourages you to watch your moment-to-moment experience and your moment-to-moment reactivity, and to start to track and understand your own conditioning, to find out who you really are, in a sense. See what your habits of mind are, what your emotional patterns are, and start to see them objectively. So with a little space. So you see, oh, I tend to get angry very easily. Or I think about the future a lot. Or I spend a lot of time regretting the past or blaming people. And we just start to get this curious attention. We start to watch our own minds and learn about how we get into the problems that we get into. And once we start to see that, we have the opportunity to change. So step one, we had admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives become unmanageable. You can obviously substitute many words for alcohol. But this step can be seen as a moment of mindfulness, a moment of waking up to the truth of the way things are. Denial is not seeing the truth. Denial is inherently not mindful. I'm not sure denial is an accurate description of the condition of being an alcoholic not in recovery yet, because it implies that you already know that you have a problem, but you're denying it. Now, sometimes that's the case, but sometimes there just isn't even any knowing. In any case, this is the beginning of waking up, of being mindful. So I see step one as being the beginning of mindfulness in the recovery process. So it's already in there. You don't have to, if you're interested in blending mindfulness and the 12 steps, you don't have to bring in some foreign idea. It's there. Admitting is a moment of seeing clearly.